Welcome to The Prize Inside. A chiropractor's journey in everyday holistic health and vitality. Here, your host, Dr. Jeremy Myers, delves into the remarkable journeys of everyday people who have embraced the path to health and healing. Through his practice, Dr. Jeremy encounters inspiring stories of profound transformation and the power of true healing within each of us. Stay tuned as we discuss various holistic topics and unlock the healing potential that lies within us all.
All right, welcome everybody. Hopefully I paused that enough. Hopefully your guys' night's going well. I was hoping to be able to cancel this live for a Detroit Lions win, but I don't care anymore. When the Lions don't make it. They had 17 injured players just on their defense, man. There was no way they were going to make it through another couple weeks. So welcome everybody to the Prize Inside and the 1% tribe. Hopefully you're enjoying these. Tonight's going to be a pretty cool one, actually. Not like all of them haven't been cool, right? No, I'm just kidding. But this one is a compound, like we talked about adaptogens. So these are like classifications of herbs, okay? So classifications of herbs, I want to go through them a little bit, give you an understanding of where these herbs come from. And one of the biggest reasons why I got into it and study it so hard is because of just the general day-to-day situations, and because of alterative night, not alternative, alterative. That's what's crazy about this word. It's almost hard to find it in the dictionary because it's an herbal description of this classification of herbs. I have tonight is dandelion. Oh, geez, sorry. Do that little fade away. Let me see. Oh, right there. Dandelion tea in my little thingy. That is good. I need to get those, get some of the, I could put our Myers Chiropractic logo on there. Oh, that's a good idea. Okay. So anyway, I just thought of that. These are really cool. Have you guys ever seen these? So this is the tea. You put it actually has the tea piece in here. It's a little metal thing, and you can put either the pouches or loose leaf inside, and then you just pour your water over the top of it, and it allows it to steep really well. So pretty much every night on Sunday, I try to do a different one. Typically, there are in the adaptogens pathway for me. I try to do those. Probably could have picked, because tonight was my first really weightlifting again situation. I've lifted a lot. I work out quite a bit, but I haven't done my bodybuilding weightlifting stuff in a while. So I'm going to be feeling this tomorrow. So just to let you know, I should be doing it anti-inflammatory, right? But we'll talk about what alternatives you could do if you started doing that. Okay. So here's our 3 top things that I found this week that were interesting. Okay. Julie, hello. Thank you for commenting. Remember, always asking questions wherever you're watching it. I get to connect it. Julie's watching on Rumble. If you have questions or comments, put them in the field. And welcome to Rachel's group. Rachel, we kept her Facebook post, so she'll be able to do. We were grabbing a few people. If they want to join in, go ahead, ask any kind of question as we go. Here's one that's interesting. Thyroid health. So thyroid health, they've been doing a very deep study on this because it's very massive. What they're finding in this last research article, and my 1% tribers will have no surprise to this, but what they found is a combination of processed foods, sugary cereals, refined bread, and pasta. So kind of the stuff that we're not supposed to necessarily have because of the different chemicals that they use to do those, combined with antibiotics, caused a major issue in people's gut bacteria. So if you're a 1% triber, you know where I'm at with this. So the gut bacteria, the gut microbiome are where these things are. And so what they're finding is a lot of people that have thyroid issues have a major, major problem with their gut microbiome. And so this could be a huge thing for people that understand and start to eat in that, in that direction of good things. We'll talk about it a little bit in just a minute, but fermented foods, ways to do that, sauerkraut, kimchi, so many out there, fermented pickles, there's many, many ways, probiotics in general. So a lot of those type of things are really interesting to start with, because a lot of people, and I see it all the time, thyroid is a very tough one to get a grasp of or get a hold of, even with medications. It's this huge journey in the medical world of just a struggle bus back and forth. So maybe looking at gut health, which is something we do at our office, actually. So we do it all the time. Help people get through that through a whole nutritional run. We coach you kind of through that whole situation just to get you to that good gut bacteria. And then a lot of things start turning for you. So that one's a good one. This one's kind of a sadder one. But we have to talk about it. So fentanyl, has been a huge problem. One of the problems that we have is we're having other countries and our country leak all this fentanyl. Fentanyl is I would say, I'm not an expert on those type of drugs, but it goes with like an Oxycontin, where it's an opioid type thing. They can give this fentanyl to a person that has this Oxycontin addiction. But fentanyl, the problem is you will die. You will die. Now there's this new, some people call EpiPen. No, it's not an EpiPen. Narcan. It's new now. It's called haloxine or haloxine is the new one that a lot of medical people will go in, and they'll be able to save these people on fentanyl. But recently, as of last month or so in New York, wonderful person out there made a new chemical. It's called carfentanil, which is just like it, but 8 times deadlier. And so now this haloxine that we're using to save people, or the other stuff I told you, the Narcan, is not saving these people. So they've had hundreds of these people that are addicted to opioids die from this carfentanil, and now it's in the street. One of the major reasons to, hopefully, if you have a family member, somebody, help them get out of this. Make sure that we know it's a big problem. Most of the people that you see with Oxycontin kind of addictions, you don't know it, and it's not who you think it is. And so, it's a lot of people where it's, the richer population, people that think they need a lot of those things. So it's a very tough drug, as far as that goes with the addiction side of things. And so I saw that article and I just said, just make sure double that we're talking to our kids about all that stuff. Okay. Cause that is a big thing. They're just having no luck in saving these people. Okay. So now back to a positive note. So this one's pretty cool. So it's one I push all the time. So how I'm kind of a nerd on fermented foods and make my own sauerkraut, lemon dill, even Rachel's on too. So she even eats this sauerkraut. It does not taste like sauerkraut. It tastes like lemon dill. It tastes like a light salad that you could have with like meat, something like that. And it's lemon and dill in there, and it's phenomenal. So this little article was on kimchi. So kimchi is a very, like, an Oriental dish that is very fermented, right? So anything that's fermented food has a ton of probiotics in it. So it's not only, so kimchi, which is this nice situation, is not only a probiotic powerhouse, but also can help with weight management, and because of the healthy gut and the metabolism help. So remember that, like, when you're looking at doing something, getting a nice fermented kimchi is going to help a lot of those things, so just remember that fermented food has a ton of vitamins. It has a ton of benefits because of the probiotic world we live in. All right. So those are the 3 articles. Remember also that I always have a recorded video on Wednesday night about 6:30 that we go through different articles like we did there. But we spend a little more time on the chiropractic side of things. So we say, all right, well, let's look at this new thing. AI and that's creating gene editing stuff. So we look at that as a holistic perspective to make sure that we understand how to approach these things. We can't stop these things from coming into our world, but we can sure as heck know how this goes, right? So one of the biggest problems in our society is we get these medical interventions and they sound fantastic and everybody runs to it. And then 5 years later, there's so many side effects that we're suing them with the lawyers later, right? So I just don't want us to get in that situation when we could have discerned maybe this wasn't the right thing. Maybe shutting off that system wasn't the best way to have better eyesight, right? So that's the kind of situation that you have to kind of look at, when you're looking at all these different things. So it's called Whole Health Weekly, and it'll be on Wednesday night. One reason is I'm kind of addicted now that I know I can stream and stuff. It's pretty sweet. So, and I'm working on an interview. It'll blow my numbers up, but I'll make sure everybody knows prior to, because I'm not very good at advertising these. But I will make sure I advertise the tar out of that one as well. I'm working on it. It's going to be cool. So anyway, let's talk about some alternatives. Here we go. All right. What is an alterative? Not alternative. Alterative. It's a classification worth me and your understanding. And what we're going to go over tonight, what is this alternative and what it can do for you? Where does it fit into our 1% tribe lifestyle? Because this one, along with adaptogens, are one of the 2 that I go, dang, these fit so well in who we want to become. Those people that work on something every day, but that may not know where to go with that 1%. Let's say you're doing all the stuff you want to do, and then all of a sudden you're like, what else do I have to do? Right? Eat better, pick a tea that's different, right? All those little things add up to that 1%. And that's what we're going after. So the herbs that act, and so then we'll go through these different herbs and where they act as alternatives, like within the human body system. Okay. So hopefully this will be very interesting because I think this is a cool, very cool thing. All right, here we go. So I'm going to give you a few definitions of alternative just to have you understand, and hopefully it'll kind of resonate with you. So alternatives are herbs that gradually restore the proper function of the body and increase health and vitality. As unclear as this may sound, their mode of action on the body is not well understood throughout pharmacology. However, their incredible value as medicines cannot be ignored. So a lot of times the benefits are huge. They're massive. And so a lot of these, because we haven't really figured out all the study on these alternatives, and they're going to be very common to you guys. So you'll understand what I'm talking about, that there's not a ton of, there is quite a bit of research out there, but they're just not sure how the herbal actions work. So alterative herbs are herbs that change the condition of the tissue by removing metabolic waste from the body. They can help with a variety of conditions by eliminating that waste through the skin, lungs, tissue, kidneys, lymphatic system, large intestine, and liver. And my favorite definition that Dr. Lodog used, that when I was learning this stuff, it's to tone it. These herbs are for tonification. So tonify, strengthen, and gradually restore the function of the body, enhance metabolic, nutritive, and eliminatory pathways. So they're very, very good at like an overall body reset. And so that's what's kind of cool. And tonify. So tonify is strength. So toning, giving good tone. When you haven't lifted a while, you get muscle tone. Right now, when I came out of the gym, because I did chest today, you feel, you feel like those muscles kind of inflate on you a little bit. You kind of have I would say that the workout gave me tone for that moment. Tomorrow it will give me pain. So just let you know that. All right, here we go. Why is this such a big deal? This is why I love this alternative stuff. This is why you need to pay attention to these. A lot of times we're here looking for what condition I can fix with an herb. This is not that kind of situation. These are something big. So the power of our innate intelligence, these can add to our understanding of that. Because, and I'll read these, but I tried to do a little article to kind of punch start it a little bit for you. So if you haven't been with us before, chiropractic lives on various laws. It's a philosophy of life and healing that starts with the idea, and I'm not going to read these, but that there's a universal intelligence that is on our planet, on this earth, on this realm, whatever you want to call it. All of these, you got to think of this universal intelligence as like the laws of physics. The laws of physics are here to make sure there's order to the planet, right? So there's things happening. We'll use the law of gravity. So the law of gravity, the idea is that all of us stay grounded so that we don't float off everywhere. And we can't, it would make it kind of disorderly if we didn't have this law of gravity. Okay. So think of that as like a universal force or a universal intelligence allowing us to have this gravity. The next piece to that puzzle is our matter. So God gives us this matter in all these little cells, and we start to create within that matter, though. God also gave us another thing. Each cell, each piece of that matter has its own intelligence within it. We call that innate intelligence. Okay. So universal intelligence would be like the universe, we're using those forces of gravity, right? Innate intelligence is the cells of your body's intelligence within it to interact and communicate with the universal intelligence without, so that we can live in this earth, this realm, whatever you want to call it, in this situation as best we possibly can. Our job is to make sure that innate intelligence within that cell is expressed through the matter, right, as best as it can be. So hopefully that makes sense. So we're trying to make sure that the communication between innate and the universal outside is good, right? And the only way we can do that is make sure that the matter that the innate intelligence is working through is the best it can. That's why alternatives are so cool, because all their job is to tonify and strengthen different systems. They don't do anything directly to one specific condition or organ or anything. That this stuff allows those kind of systems to kind of build up and have a better communication pattern to the universal intelligence, right? So then if your innate intelligence is doing great, couldn't you have healing that happens? Let's say you have a kidney infection. Let's use that. And all of a sudden you're like, well, I'm going to take some alterative. You're not doing it because the kidney infection's there. Let's say tonifies and strengthens the urinary tract. We'll go through that. All of a sudden, the kidney infection starts to improve. And it wasn't because you treated the kidney infection, gave strength, you tonified our bladder pathway, our urinary tract system. Then who does the healing, right? It's the matter. It's the innate intelligence within us in each cell that does all the healing. So why not give it the best shot it can? And that's where this is such a cool thing. So that's why we want to thrive in anything. Think about this. One of my favorite universal innate intelligences, as we age, we see people almost desperately need to go to Florida. Okay. So like as we age, now that's not true all the time, but if they have the opportunity, they're going to go to a situation where the environment is nice, right? It's nice all the time. Well, what is that telling you? The human body is having a hard time adapting to those cold temperatures, right? And so it shows you almost a sign of not as healthy because you want to go to these. It doesn't mean because you don't want to. I don't mean that wrong. But if you can handle the winter, right? Your body goes through that, and your innate intelligence adapts all your cells to go through this cold winter. That's why you see people from like Saskatchewan and it's like minus 60 in April, and they're like, let's get the garden ready, right? It's nothing more than their cells' innate intelligence. Their actual intelligence has adapted their body to be able to withstand whatever universal intelligence gives them in that time frame. So just remember that. Hopefully that I didn't go off on too much of a tangent, but I love that conversation. So anyway, and it helps you from a baseline. It really helps, like understanding this innate intelligence of the human body, because then you start doing things that, lead towards that innate intelligence. Okay. So there is that. Oh my gosh. Gina is so true. Gina, I'm sorry about your trip. I heard about Gina. Oh, the only person in the world that goes to Florida and has snow. Oh man. So, but yes, vitamin D. So why is vitamin D so important? Okay, so I'll read the comment. But vitamin D is so important. It's very true. Vitamin D, the reason it's so important is because it is really a hormone. So the vitamin D is actually a hormone that allows you to regulate your thermostat of your house. Okay. So it allows this immune system to kind of take off and be normal. So think of vitamin D always as the alarm system to your house. If it's too low, that means people can come in your house, steal your stuff, get out of the house. They shut the door, and then the alarm comes on. Okay. So that means the immune system didn't call the cops, didn't do anything, right? So if your vitamin D level is good and right, as soon as the burglar breaks into the house, the alarm starts going off. The police start showing up. That's the immune cells. That's why vitamin D is so vital. And hormonally, it helps regulate a ton of stuff. That's why it actually, I wonder if they'd ever call it an alterative. Once you see that tonifies, strengthens, and it does that with the immune system. So, all right. So let's talk about what different ones there are and how we would look at this. Okay. So alternatives are not something you're like, oh man, I have osteoporosis, so I should start taking this. No, if you do, it could be a good additive to what you're doing because you're trying to tonify and strengthen a system. But what you want to do is these are really good for, strengthening these areas possibly of weakness. Let's say you always have the same gut problem, right? Or you always get good one is you always get sick every flu season. You're always sick, and let's say you've done all the vitamin D, C, zinc, all the stuff that I tell people to do all the time, right? But there's still this like almost preemptive time where it just hits you, right? And so you're like, oh, I'm doing everything right, that kind of thing. So these alternatives can be really, really good for those kind of situations. So just remember, they tonify and strengthen like adaptogens. Adaptogens were really good and they hit TikTok really well. She knows, ashwagandha was this big, huge deal. There's more to the world of herbs than that. And we were way ahead. If I knew how to do TikTok and make it sound sweet, some of these on here would be amazing. I'm going to tell you, dandelion tea for all you digestive people. That should be a good starting point. And if you want to TikTok it, it's fine. Just hook me up to it at some point. Give me all your followers. So we have a ton. Anyway, so alternatives. I even spelled it wrong. Dang it. It's supposed to be alternatives. Take the N out. And what organ systems they are the best. Okay. So if you're looking for alternative for digestion. Oh, and before we go through all these. Oh, I'm so proud. This is a Rachel and Miss Gina situation. I think I go there. Nope, that's not it. Okay, hang on. Up in my corner is a little QR code to a place where you can get these, and they're all vetted. It's called Full Script. It's awesome. So if you ever want a good, solid app that you can actually like buy all of these things or make a list and buy it later or whatever, there's like I think you get 5% off just by using this little Full Script. I loving it at the office. I could like tell people what to take, and then the shipping's just kind of like Amazon versus like we order it, then it comes in, and then you got to wait for it and all those kind of things. This is a lot quicker situation there. So remember this little QR code if you can work it. So this is me being super techie right now. So I don't know. Let me know in the comments if it doesn't work or something. So let's go into it. Alteratives for the digestive. The two major good ones. Burdock, which is, you're going to see a few of these quite a bit. And dandelion. Okay, so dandelion root tea, dandelion greens are all very highly strengthening of the digestive system. Not anything in particular, but very, very powerful that way. One of the main reasons I went down this herbalist journey was because I found out that dandelion root tea is one of the best gallbladder detoxes out there. Until I learned that, oh my gosh, it doesn't just do that, it helps strengthen that digestive system. So maybe doing it as a tea, or so you understand, like as we go, teas are a good way to introduce it to your body without worrying about like side effects necessarily, because it's such a low dose. But your body, if you can actually kind of feel those, right? You can feel a good tea that works really well. And so it can tell you if it's good for your body or not. Your immune system, a lot of people could use these. Okay. So immune system, we have a lot of chronic immune system issues. These are for tonifying and strengthening the immune system. One of them is my absolute. Actually, both of these are two of my favorites on the planet: astragalus and reishi. Reishi mushroom is massive in a lot of Chinese medicine. It's a very, very big go-to tea. I think this is the tea that if a Chinese family likes you, they have you, if they offer it to you. If they don't like you that much, I think they say no to that. But reishi tea is a very powerful immune system booster with the strengthening of the system. Okay. This one's pretty cool, and this is the one that me and Rachel were talking about. I want it, and of course it's got another system in there, but Schisandra, very common, nice herb. Burdock, and you can see burdock is another one that you can find in many kinds of tea forms if you want to as well. Nervous system. Let's say, good example of this, I would say, let's say you just came through a massive back problem with like sciatica. I just got your yes, Dr. J at his hips. That's right. That was this little idea, Gina's yours right there. That little QR code, that's a great idea. Dang. So anyway, so the nervous system, let's say you go through a major sciatic nerve problem. The leg's still kind of healing. You're going to work now though, right? And you got through it, but you can feel you're like, I'd like to do something. These are very good to strengthen and tonify. In fact, we'll probably start carrying these or recommending them, to our patients that go through this kind of thing. But skullcap, bacopa, and oats isn't what you think. It's that oats is an actual herb, that you can get a tincture, a tea, those kind of things. So these are the three major ones that could be really good. But skullcap, really nice, like helping that nerve heal. Now, remember, in a lot of these, vitamins do very similar as well, right? So a lot of have a good multivitamin, those kind of situations will also be kind of act like an alternative because it's helping a lot of the different parts of your body as well. Reproduction. So reproduction, some tonify, some strength. I really like this category because it goes unnoticed. periods that are weird, different situations that happen there. No one really, we just kind of try to ignore all that kind of stuff. Prostate issues, like that kind of thing. These type of situations are there in a long time, and sometimes you have a genetic predisposition for it. So a good example that you could start your hubby on something that maybe be herbal remedy would be saw palmetto, and you can say, hey, grandpa had prostate issues, why don't you start taking this saw palmetto tea? Because this isn't we're not trying to medicate it, we are just trying to tonify and strengthen the system. Okay. Raspberry tea is fantastic anyway. So all my ladies should be doing that just for that. Isn't it interesting in nature how the plant that it's good for has the same shape as the organ? Raspberries is exactly that. Guess what it's good for? Ovaries. And what else? The heart. It's crazy. It looks just like it. It's fascinating. But that's the universal intelligence telling you what to do, right? So that's why herbs are so cool. Is because remember, we have this universal intelligence, the earth, the nature, listening to what is around us. And then our innate intelligence within us tells us, how to interact and communicate with the outside universal intelligence. Okay, so here's some other cool ones. So I learn with you guys a lot of times because, like, sometimes I won't, because of where we're at, like in our office, sometimes we won't come across a few, and so I get to actually study a few of these. So it was pretty cool. So respiratory, to tonify and strengthen the respiratory system, and there's this could be huge for somebody. My daughter has a little sports-induced asthma action, so we're gonna look into this as well. But you have in the respiratory, there's a herb called eyebright. Okay. So there's a herb called eyebright and mullein. Mullein is fantastic. A lot of people in Michigan know that is like a weed that grows that you can pick yourself, make it into a tea. Very good for scratches in the ground. I've seen patients that are really into herbs prior to me even being into herbs. You can make what they call a poultice, where a kid that scratches their arm in the field, but there's mullein out there. You can actually wet this thing and then put it on there to prevent inflammation and bacteria. Mullein's really good about that, like especially in the respiratory system, of getting rid of this excess bacteria that kind of kickstarts these immune system problems. So that one's a really good one. I really recommend highly the mullein because of that. And if you got somebody with major chronic respiratory problems, maybe have them try a mullein tea, and see if they actually feel like their lungs are opening up, because it could be that way. Skin is an interesting one as well, because there's some really good stuff in tonifying and strengthening, right? So if you can find, like, let's say creams or tinctures or, creams with this type of thing in there, maybe try them. So Oregon grapefruit is a very good skin tonify and strengthen. Okay. I have not tried this, but now that this is the part that I don't know much about skin health in the general sense of things, but I'm going to see if I can find some stuff and try something. And I have girls that'll help me out and see if there's anything awesome about it. Sarsaparilla is a good skin tonify strengthener. And then burdock makes its third appearance in tonight's situation, which is kind of cool. All right, so we're on to urinary. So urinary tract, urinary in general, right? So this is the urinary system. There's an actual herb called urinary leaf. So somebody in the ancient times knew what the heck was happening, because they named it that. So probably look up the urinary leaf and cleavers. Cleavers was an interesting one. Let me look up cleavers. Oh, benefits. Yeah, so cleavers extract. I'm trying to find what plant it's from. They're very cooling, demulcent, improves the flow of the lymphatic system, and reduces stagnation in tissues. Really good for infections, those kind of things. So anyway, it's an herb. So just remember that. All right. So cleavers. I kept thinking it was like a herb we used to cook with, but I could be wrong on that. Okay, my last one on this slide is cardiovascular. So, how many of us have had heart issues in the family genetically? Maybe you don't have it, but somebody in your family did, right? So why not start doing something that tonifies and strengthens these kind of these areas? And one of the big ones, honestly, is this one called hawthorn. Hawthorn as a tea could be a really, really good situation for you. To just do, like as a tea. Most of the time, I would recommend most of these, especially when you're talking cardiovascular and like, those kind of things. Talk to us first, see what's the good pathway there. But garlic, you just eat that. And that could be, just make sure you have a lot of good garlicky foods. So you have some great alternatives that could add to the tonifying and strengthen, not necessarily like a condition there. Okay. All right. But why does it fit in? This is one of my last slides, because we're talking about once you take something and your those cells of your human body are allowed to communicate better with the rest of you, and to create this innate intelligence that really knows what it's doing, you're going to step your game up. And then what you're going to see is small, slow improvements, right? Of some of these health things that could end up being major, major chronic. So that's why I love this whole topic. Adaptogens, alternatives, very, very good. There's tons of different categories. We're going to go through them, but I just want you to make sure these are the major ones I really want you to know. Okay, so what are we going to do to fix our 1% tribe tonight? What's our 1% this week? Get some tea. Get some tea. Pick one. Burdock, dandelion tea. Very simple, very cheap. You can get one, try it, see how you like it. Hawthorn, just throw them out. One of my favorites, I'm out of it now, is astragalus. Astragalus was on that list. Very good overall for everything, right? So all the human body systems are very good. Start trying it once a night. Try it once a week, just to have a nice sit down. And a lot of times you're going to notice, hey, I feel pretty good, especially if you have issues. Let's say you have chronic lung issues, but you're not having the lung issue at the time. Well, that's a perfect time to try one of these teas. Do you feel any better? Okay. So, and of course, there's a QR code up there. If you want to get some supplements, you can. It's a little QR thingy. And that is all I have for tonight. But I want to appreciate the comments, man. We have had, it's like blowing up. Loving it. Hopefully, this was a fun one. Next week, we're going to do, so each week, now that I have a few more of you, each week we've been doing this about a year, every Sunday at 8. Remember to also, if you want, I'm going to put it in the comments. Tribe 1 So I have a email list specifically for this group. So you get the email prior to, and you get like my old recordings and stuff. So it's called tribe1.substack.com. And so once you put that in, you just put your email in, and then you're able to, you can even access what they call my Substack, where a lot of these videos will be every single week. We'll have that same thing. The other is we have a Rumble channel called The Prize Inside. That's a really good place to like watch all the videos. I really like how it looks. We have our YouTube channel. We don't have a ton on the YouTube channel, but we're building that up as we go. It's Rachel and I's one, and I think that's all I have for you tonight. Other than that was really fun. Thank you guys for all the thumbs and the Facebook loves. That was amazing. And as we're going out, like this thing. If you haven't given me a thumbs up or a love, little heart, then do that wherever you're doing it at, because it helps kind of gain some traction. And then, but I appreciate you guys. We're going to keep learning each Sunday. It's the time. It's starting to get a little warmer out. Some activity rolling. I feel it. Next week is like in the 30s. So spring is coming. All right. You guys have a great night and watch that last bit of the football game if you're so. I'm sure it's going to end in a very good one. All right. Have a good one.